to my brain, my heart, sports talk with Mike, and my Bud Light Platinum. Oh yeah. It's official. Vernon Wells, the former Blue Jay, the former Angel, is now a member of the New York Yankees organization. And the whole time while playing for the Blue Jays and the Angels, he was apparently a Yankees fan. What's that about? I mean, I don't even think the players on the Yankees in the organization are Yankees fans, except for maybe Derek Jeter. Maybe. And there's not a lot of Yankees fans, unless you live in New York. There's a ton of Yankees fans all over, but they're called bandwagoners. If they were losing, they wouldn't be fans of the Yankees. So, there you have it. Today's episode is a breakdown of the AL West. I'm going to start with the Oakland Athletics, finishing 94-68 last season. First in the West, over the Angels and the Rangers. They picked up a young outfielder in Chris Young from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Had an off season a year ago, but he's looking to have that fresh start. They lost Brandon McCarthy, a pitcher who took that line drive to his noggin last season. If you've watched it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you YouTube that stuff, that shit. Pause my episode and then watch it on another tab, or watch it after this show. So we'll start with their rotation. They got if they have a healthy Anderson, things are looking up for them. They got Jared Parker, who I like, and Maloney. They got a good 1, 2, 3. Not a lot of experience, but a lot of young. And then when you get a young guy coming into the major leagues, they kind of have a swagger that they feel a bit more like I can do anything. They don't feel like they have to prove themselves most times. The fourth and fifth starters really inexperienced, so I expect a lot of losses coming from them. They bring back their incredible bullpen. They got Balfour, Cook, and Blevins. Pretty good things. Pretty good relievers. But other than that, they had an amazing year last season. But the problem is their starting rotation isn't going to be up to par, and there's going to be a lot of workload, and they're going to rely heavily on the relievers this season, and eventually they're going to crack. They have in their lineup, they have a lot of speed: Coco Crisp, Jed Lowry, Jonas, Brandon Moss, and Josh Reddick. So you got Josh Reddick there in right field with that cannon of an arm. Brandon Moss, he knows how to hit some home runs. I tell you that much. He can hit home runs. And then you got Chris Young. He's on the bench. He's looking to work his way into the starting lineup, and eventually probably will. But because of they had such a good year last year, chances are of them repeating that luck is very minimal. So I have them finishing fourth in the division. Bullpen, you're going to get exhausted. Watch a lot of their guys make about 50 to 60 appearances. It's going to be crazy. We'll move over to the Los Angeles Angels. 89-73 last season. Good for only third in the AL West. And they picked up C.J. Wilson and Albert Pujols last season. But this season, they got Josh Hamilton, Tommy Hanson, Joe Blanton, Sean Burnett, and Ryan Madsen. Pretty good pickups. They lost Zach Greinke, Torrey Hunter, Kendrys Morales, Dan Haren, Irvin Santana, and Jordan Walden. So they did lose some key guys with Hunter, Morales, and then some young guns. But when you have a starting rotation, Jared Weaver, C.J. Wilson, Tommy Hanson, Joe Blanton, and that veteran in Claudio Vargas. I think it's Claudio Vargas. Jason Vargas. You got your young gun Weaver, a lot of experience, a lot of veteran leadership into the rotation, so they know what they have to do. Hopefully they don't kind of fall into a hole. I don't see that happening. I think the Angels' rotation is pretty on point. They have a pretty decent bullpen: Ryan Madsen, Sean Burnett, and Scott Downs. But it won't be their best. And their bullpen will be their downfall. A lot of games will be lost because of the bullpen, where the work will be a bit too much eventually. The first few months will be amazing. probably around August, watch the Angels to start slipping a bit. Their lineup, probably the best in Major League Sports, or Major League Baseball, sorry. You got Mike Trout, the reigning AL Rookie of the Year and runner-up to the MVP. Josh Hamilton, Mark Trumbo, Albert Pujols. There's problems up the middle at shortstop and second base. They're a little bit, they're good defensively, not great, and don't expect a lot of offensive bursts from them. Same thing behind the plate with Chris Iannetta. He's alright behind the plate, but he's not the answer for them. They need to upgrade. And like I said, Wallace has gone to the Yankees, so, he was just the fourth outfielder, just taking up cap space, salary space, what have you. But I do have the Angels finishing first in the division. It was a transitional year for them last season, with the additions of Pujols and Wilson. They're kind of settled in now, and with the additions of Hamilton and guys to the starting rotation and the bullpen, they'll be pretty decent. Next up, we have the Seattle Mariners, 75 and 87 last season, good for fourth in the AL West. Pretty decent numbers, record for a team that was not filled with a bunch of superstars except for Felix Hernandez. They picked up Mike Morris, Kendrys Morales, Raul Ibanez came back, Jason Bay, the Canadian, and Joe Saunders, pretty good pitcher. And they just said goodbye to old fellas, underachievers, guys that didn't live up to the hype. You got Felix Hernandez as the ace, and the only one you can actually really truly count on in their rotation. Saunders can give you some solid outings, but don't count on him if you're a Mariners fan. The third, fourth, and fifth guys in the rotation, a lot of inexperience, a lot of hope, but the guys that could be good in about 2 or 3 years, but not this year, sorry. And then in the bullpen, it'll be a lot of young guys with loads of confidence, with no pressure on their backs. Like they're going to have the feeling of, I just want to get out there and do my thing, shut guys down, and they're probably going to do a really solid job at doing that. In the lineup, they got Dustin Ackley, Franklin Gutierrez, and Seager. Wow, he's going to be amazing. He has that potential to be an all-star for years to come. And they got Mike Morris, and I like Brendan Ryan, shortstop. I do like him. We'll see what he can do this year. And then they got the Canadian, Michael Saunders, who put up a pretty decent tournament at the World Baseball Classic. And I'm hoping he continues that with the Mariners. And I got the Mariners stepping up a bit. They're going to finish third in the AL West, in a division that's pretty difficult when you got the Angels and the Rangers. And the Upstart Athletics. TSN, for some reason, have the Athletics as in their power rankings 5th over teams like the Tampa Bay Rays, San Francisco Giants, and I think 6th might be the St. Louis Cardinals. I could be wrong, or Cincinnati Reds, one of those two teams. And whoever does that, you guys are idiots. Straight up, idiots. Next, we got the Texas Rangers, 93 and 69 last season, first in the division. They picked up some veteran leadership, some old guys in Lance Berkman and A.J. Pierzynski. They lost the Josh Hamilton trader to the Angels. Mike Napoli went to the Red Sox. Scott Feldman, Michael Young, the veteran, the Michael Young, the best utility guy in the game. He went to the Phillies. Mike Adams and Uehara, I think he went to the Red Sox as well. But they got a young rotation with a lot of skill. Yu Darvish, Derek Holland, Matt Harrison, and Alex Ogando. Injuries to the guys at the pitching staff with Neftali Feliz and Colby Lewis. You got Yokia Soria. Joaquin Soria, sorry, and the bullpen. So expect those guys back in June and July. So for the first few months, Texas is really going to struggle with their pitching because some of their top guys are injured. In the field, amazing. Ian Kinsler, Elvis Andrus, we got Lance Berkman, Adrian Beltre, Nelson Cruz. That's a pretty decent lineup right there. I don't think Martin in the outfielder, he's a young guy, 25 years old. I think he's coming out of Cuba. I see a lot of talent in this guy, but not this season. He'll be a great defensively, but he's not going to provide any type of spark in the box, and eventually they're probably going to have to bring another bat in because of that, his issue in the box. And I got the Rangers finishing second in the division. And the new team to the AL West, straight out of the NL Central, The Houston Astros, the horrible, the brutal, the suckiest team in the major leagues last season. They picked up some, not cast-offs, guys that did pretty well, just weren't fitting in with their previous organizations. Carlos Pena, Rick Ankiel, Jose Barria came over in trade, and Philip Humber from the White Sox. They lost Jed Lowry, and they also lost their best reliever in Wilton Lopez. He went to the Red Sox, so that's going to really hurt them and sting them a bit. I like Bud Norris, Lyles Humber, and Alex White in the rotation for the Astros. They're going to do really good for probably get into the 6th, 7th inning, not letting in a lot of runs, and that's what you need from the rotation. But the problem is if they're up 2-1, 3-1, their bullpen is just going to blow it for them. Beyond Jose Veras, you can't really ask them to do. I mean, the rest of the relievers, unless they put on a performance like no other, I don't expect them to do much. Wright will be asked a lot to do, and hopes with they have Sedano in there. They're hoping that they'll blossom into the late inning relievers, closers. When you're the Houston Astros, it's if you're winning 3-1, don't trust these guys. You're gonna have to use Jose Veras a lot. He came from the Pirates. In the field, they're gonna have a lot of pressure on Carlos Pena, Chris Carter, and Brett Wallace. They're going to be relied on heavily to bring in runs, to get things going. I do have faith in Matt Dominguez. He can end up being a surprising player for you. Rick Ankiel, he might work himself into the outfield, play great defensively, bring up his average to a respectable 280. And then JD Martinez, I like him. I think he has a lot of power. And I can see him doing wonders for Houston if he can just work himself into a regular starting role. Houston, you're finishing 5th. There's just nothing you can do about that. When you got the Angels and the Rangers, and then Athletics are pretty good with their bullpen. They don't need to score as much runs. And the Mariners, they're looking to kind of kickstart their drive to the playoffs. So Astros, it's not looking good for you guys. Not for a good few years. They need to land a big guy through free agency or through a trade. The batter 2 and at least 2 guys in the rotation and 3 guys in the bullpen. So they're a long ways from really even competing in the division for a playoff spot. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Like I said, I got the Angels in 1st, Rangers in 2nd, Mariners in 3rd, Athletics in 4th, and Astros in 5th. Any advice, or not advice, because I don't need advice. Look at me. I'm drinking beer and I'm Canadian. I don't need advice. I give advice. But if you have any points that you liked about my episode or anything that I might have missed out, let me know. No problems. I'll listen and respectively tell you I know exactly what I'm talking about sometimes. Not all the times. Most times. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of My Brain, My Heart, Sports Talk with Mike. You enjoy your Tuesday, which is probably one of the most boringest days of the week, I think.